Yeah, good morning, everyone. We're starting our February 19th commission meeting. Welcome. Hope everyone is doing well. We're going to, our first item is the consent agenda. We're going to add, well, on our overall agenda this morning, we're going to move General Counsel items B, legislative update, up to action and presentation items. It'll be number C. So that's the only change in the agenda for this morning. So with that change, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So move.
Second, James.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Giraldo, second by Commissioner Bailey. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. The ayes have it, unanimous there. So that is approved, our consent agenda with items A, approval of the commission meeting agenda for February 19th, and the resolution number 25-02, land disposition, correcting boundary parcel in Black Hill Regional Park. The next, do I have a motion for approval of the commission minutes of January 22nd, 2025?
Move approval, Mr. Chair.
I'll second, James.
Okay. Approved by Mr. Giraldo, second by Commissioner Hedrick. Do I have a, I guess I should do it the official commission way. Do I have a roll call, please? Aye.
Is anyone in caller?
Chair Harris.
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Bartley.
Aye. Commissioner Giraldo vote aye.
Commissioner Hedrick.
Aye. Very quiet, but aye.
Commissioner Pedwin.
I'm sorry, I have to sign in with my phone. So, can you hear me?
Yep, we see you too.
So we're voting on the minutes of January 22nd, Commissioner Pedwin.
Yes, I'm sorry. I had some emergency at my house. I had to get back on my cell phone. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I don't have power.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So I'm here.
Okay, and you vote aye on the minutes?
Yes.
Okay,
I
great.
am the.
Okay.
Thank you. Vice Chair Shapiro.
Vote aye.
Commissioner Bailey.
But aye.
Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Washington.
I vote aye.
The ayes have it.
Oh, thank you so much. Now we're on general announcements. A few things I want to bring forward this morning. The first is the American National Heart Month. The second is Black History Month. The third is the upcoming Women's History Month. The fourth is the financial disclosure filing requirement due by April 30th for the state and M-NCPPC deadline. I also want to make an announcement. We're acknowledging Terry Baycolt Charles for her one-year anniversary in this past February. We want to be very thankful for all the hard work she's done. She just jumped in feet first during that first budget session, and she's been moving well ever since. So thank you, Ms. Baycolt Charles, and congratulations on your one-year anniversary. And next, I'll turn it over to our vice chair, who wants to make an announcement about Commissioner Dorner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, as I think most of us know, I am sad to announce publicly that Commissioner Dorner has stepped down, resigned from the commission, from the Prince George's Planning Board and the full commission as of February 14, 2025. Just for the record to note, Commissioner Dorner has been, was first appointed November 2016. And then reappointed in 2019, 9 years of service, and he was a tremendous asset to the commission, to the Prince George's Planning Board. Just a wealth of knowledge, thorough view of all the development projects. We enjoyed so many of his comments and thoughts as he helped us make sense and help grow the county's economy. He was especially a frequent user of the Bi-County Trail System and a huge advocate for that. So he will be missed as a friend and a colleague and as a strong leader for Prince George's County, and we wish him and his family well in all his new adventures.
I
Thank you.
second that.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, we will be greatly missed. Commissioner Dorner, really appreciated all your thoughtful, comments, and we always know we were in good hands with you on top of things. So thank you so much. We're going to go on to committee and board reports. There's one in your packet for information only, the Employee Retirement Systems Board of Trustees regular meeting minutes from December 3rd, 2025. Also, and we're going into our next item, which is the action and presentation items. The first one is recommendation of Poland Capital as the new investment manager for employees' retirement system. And this morning we have Jacqueline Harris to present this item. Welcome, Ms. Harris.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair Harris, for the warm welcome. I don't have a official presentation for you today. We did include in the packet a recommendation providing some background information on the manager, Poland Capital. The Board of Trustees met on December 3rd, 2024, and they selected Poland Capital Opportunistic High Yield Fund to manage the investment portfolio's high yield fixed income mandate. The initial investment will be $150 million, which represents 9.7% of the total fund assets as of December 31st, 2024. If any of the commissioners have any questions, I'll be happy to address those at this time.
Are any comments, questions from the commissioners about the selection of the Poland Capital as the new investment manager for the employees' retirement system? Seeing none, do I have a motion for approval of Poland Capital as the new investment manager for the employees' retirement fund?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Giraldo, second by Commissioner Bailey. May I have a roll call, please?
Chair Harris.
Aye.
Commissioner Bartley.
Aye.
Commissioner Hedrick.
Aye.
Commissioner Petuine.
Aye.
Vice Chair Shapiro.
Vote aye.
Commissioner Bailey.
But aye.
Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Washington.
I vote aye.
8-0. Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for the committee for, vetting folks for that and doing all the hard work for that. I appreciate it. The next is our Diversity Council Membership Strategic Plan update. We have this morning Ms. Thompson, who is the chair of that committee, to give us this presentation. So welcome, Ms. Thompson. We look forward to your presentation.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm going to present the PowerPoint, which you have in your packet. Give me just a moment for it to load. So good morning again. I'm Ashlyn Thompson, and I'm the current Diversity Council Chair for 2025. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm happy to report out our successes from 2024, as well as our actions toward a path forward in 2025. Our mission and vision remain the same. We are continuing our efforts to propose policy and other initiatives to provide a more inclusive workplace for all. And we are holding firm on our role and responsibility to empower and support diversity efforts, to educate and raise awareness about diversity, equity, and inclusion within the Commission, and to advocate for diversity priorities. Our ongoing tasks that we will carry from 2024 to 2025 also remain the same, with a large focus on sharing diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging resources. And we will continue to support Commission-wide trainings and Commission-wide cultural events. Also suggesting policy changes to reflect diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging initiatives with the support and guidance and representation on the council with the Department of Human Resources Management. And here we have a list of some of our 2024 highlights. Diversity Council accomplished a big task of implementing a commission-wide employee survey at our Inclusion Palooza event in May of last year. I hope some of you were able to come out and join us. It was a fun day. From that survey, we received 177 responses. We recognize this is a small portion of our staff, but we were able to form an action plan to address the gaps made clear from those responses. And pictured here at the top is Hispanic Heritage Month event. It was a culture share at the Wheaton headquarters, where you are now, with Montgomery Parks and Planning Committee of the Hispanic Heritage Month. It was a great success, and Diversity Council members were able to support. The picture below is our attendance at last year's Capitol Pride in DC. And that was a huge success. We saw a lot of participants, and we were even able to have applications on site for folks to apply for job openings. And so Diversity Council said goodbye to several members whose term ended in 2024. We thanked and recognized our outgoing members in person on January 14th at Argyle Local Park Activity Building during our orientation for new members. And I'd like to acknowledge Carly Brockington and Zubin Adrian Vela for their services as past Diversity Council chairs. And so looking forward to 2025, we've established 3 main tools. Our first, and included in your packet, is our strategic plan for 2025 to 2026. And those goals include to provide a platform for submitting and addressing diversity-related concerns, to offer support and resources for diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging events and training initiatives, to collaborate with departments to amplify and coordinate diversity efforts, such as trainings and internal staff events and workshops, develop and maintain an educational diversity calendar to raise awareness, to offer informed recommendations on diversity issues to senior leadership, and to actively participate in commission meetings to ensure diversity remains a top priority. The next is our survey action plan, which is based off of the survey responses that we received from the survey that we implemented at the Inclusion Palooza event. And from those survey responses, the Diversity Council recommends several action items and areas of improvement. We value the partnership that has been established with Department Human Resources Management, specifically with the recently added position of an organizational development, diversity, equity, and inclusion specialist. The current incumbent, Kathy Edwards, has been a great help and has already begun working on many of these recommendations. And then our final goal that we're focusing on is Diversity Council will continue to initiate collaboration throughout existing departmental cultural awareness committees while developing staff connection opportunities like safe space meetups where colleagues can share experiences and ask questions. Stay tuned for a commission-wide announcement promoting that schedule. A big way that we are sharing resources is through our SharePoint page, which is public to any M-NCPPC network employee. This has become a localized resource home for diversity, equity, and inclusion resources, both internal and external. We've included a call to action to continue receiving feedback from the Commission and answering questions. There's also a link that's titled the Diversity Council Frequently Asked Questions. This page also contains the upcoming awareness and acceptance recognitions using the diversity calendar and publishing staff training announcements. And to wrap up, I'd like to acknowledge our Diversity Council members for 2025, shown here. and mention Rachel Solomon, who is on the call. She is our elected Diversity Council incoming chair for 2026 as of February 11th. And our Diversity Council members are very passionate and eager to trailblaze through our goals this year. And I want to thank everybody here for your continued support for the Diversity Council. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Allen, Ms. Thompson, for your presentation and in the spirit in which you gave it. I know as being part of other committees, it takes a lot of effort. It's a commitment to be on committee, so I thank you and your team for all the hard work this past year, and also for Ms. Solomon for coming in and being the chair for 2026 and all the hard work your team will be doing. So thank you so much. I just have a question, is that how will you know that you're making a difference? Is there, or give me some examples of you saying, well, our diversity council and our diversity activities are so important, and could you give some examples of, how you feel that you made a difference, has made a difference in the life of the commission?
Sure. I think that, well, first, since the wave of changes that we're all seeing, the amount of engagement that Diversity Council has directly been receiving, whether that's staff asking questions or coming up to me, on the 12th floor at Wheaton headquarters, hey, how can I get involved? Hey, do you know about this committee? Hey, are there Black History Month posters that you all can create and we can post around? So that's been very motivating to see that, it's not just us as council members who have diversity, equity, inclusion at the forefront of their mind. And second, I would say the data. That's the really neat thing about using the SharePoint page, is we can go into the analytics and we can see who is actually viewed these resources, the type of action that it has seen over the days, the weeks, and the months, particularly the Diversity Council frequently asked question link. We're using the Engage app. So members are inputting questions as we receive them. And then we can answer questions in real time. Bill Spencer has been super active in answering those questions, which has been really great. And if for each question, you can see, again, the data of who has seen that. And now there's only, 18 members who can input the questions, but you're seeing each question is seeing, 40, 50 people who have viewed it. And we know that that's coming from other employees within the commission.
Great. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions or comments from the other commissioners? Well, great. Thank
I'd
you.
like to thank,
Oh, go ahead, Mr.
I just want to thank the council for the work it does and for the leadership and our supporting them in any way that we can.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I agree. I associate myself with those comments and thank the council.
Thank you.
I have a comment. I particularly like the emphasis placed upon African American History Month and its separate and distinct reality. And I appreciate that being distinguished from other diversity initiatives and our focus on it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to go on to our next item, C, which is legislative update by our General Counsel, Deborah Borton. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Deborah Borton for the record, General Counsel. Just trying to get this microphone in the right place. Okay, I will dive right in. I have two bills for your consideration today. I actually, after thinking about it, I don't think I need a vote on either of these, but I do want to make sure that you're aware of both of them. And we will deal with the Housing for Jobs comments in terms of getting a vote on those. We'll deal with that tomorrow at your regular meetings. The reason I'm making that change is because half of you haven't seen the comments that we brought to the Montgomery board last week because the Prince George's Board didn't meet last week. So I don't want to confuse you. The Housing for Jobs Act is fairly complex, and I don't want to confuse everybody. So we will take care of that because we've added a few comments. We've added some comments as a result of the Montgomery Board's direction last week, and we've also added some legal comments that were given to us by our legal staff on the two land use teams. So I want to talk about those new comments from the legal perspective today, so that you're both aware of those. But then tomorrow we will do the rest of the comments for the Housing for Jobs Act in both of your regular hearings, so that we can address anything, any lingering concerns, any additional comments you might have or direction that you might have. Okay, so we'll start with the Housing for Jobs Act since I just talked about that. I will put it up on the screen so that you can follow along. Okay, so let me go to, okay, so this is the position statement for the Housing for Jobs Act. And again, this is the state legislation that is looking to introduce the idea of a ratio between the number of housing and the number of jobs that each region produces, and having some sort of trigger for consequences if the region is not producing enough housing to match the number of jobs. This is a very new concept for the state, and so we are very much looking at the details of this new proposal to make sure that it will work for both of our counties, and also just to make sure that we can catch any unintended consequences and try to address that with any proposed amendments that we can. So the legal concerns that you see on the screen are basically a provision in the bill that talks about how the circuit court will review any denial of a housing project under this new bill. We have some concerns about that because it appears that the language is attempting to change the way that we do judicial review. And that is concerning because it's well established. Everyone sort of knows how judicial review works. We're very comfortable with the standard of review. There is agency deference that is baked into the standard of review. And when you try to change that standard of review, then there results in questions and uncertainty as to, well, what does that mean for agency deference? For instance, the bill is purporting to change, what we have right now, which is a substantial evidence standard of review. As long as you have substantial evidence in your record to make your decision, and your decision was not arbitrary and capricious, therefore the decision should stand. Well, this is attempting to change that standard of review to clear and convincing, but it doesn't give the other information about what do you do about agency deference when you're introducing a clear and convincing standard. So there's a bit of a disconnect here, and we're trying to highlight that for them. So I'll stop there and see if I have any questions. Hopefully I haven't confused the situation for you on this bill.
So just a quick question. So currently, under judicial review, you talk about agency deference. It means that there should be deference to the agency that apparently has the training and and expertise in that area, right?
That's correct. That's correct. And that is a basic tenet of administrative law, that an agency who deals with these regulations, day in, day out, they know their regulations. There is a level of deference that the courts will grant to the agencies as long as they haven't done something unlawful, as long as they have actually implemented and interpreted their own regulations reasonably. They will extend that deference and not impose their own view of how that regulation should be interpreted. They will defer to the view of the agency because the agency has expertise.
Thank you. I would defer to your judgment,
Thank you. Any other questions?
Any other commissioners have any questions, comments on that? Okay, great. Thank
Okay,
you.
wonderful. And you will see this again tomorrow as part of the bigger package of comments on this Housing for Jobs Act. So the next bill is, actually, I'll start with the bill itself. It's Senate Bill 770, and this is entitled Applicants for Positions Involving Direct Contact with Minors. This bill does a couple of things. It enlarges the types of agencies that deal with children who have to get extra background checks when they hire individuals. So right now, only child care centers have to go the extra step of contacting Child Protective Services and getting a clearance for each person that they hire. This is in addition to a criminal background check. And so the commission has child care centers in Prince George's County only that we actually operate, not through a vendor, but we operate them. So those individuals who work at the child care centers have this extra background check that we do in accordance with current state law. This bill would expand that to any youth-serving organization that would have to do these extra CPS checks. And you could, by the definition of youth-serving organizations, it could include everything that the commission does, basically. Anything that involves programming for youth, for minors. So that would be seasonal instructors, that would be possibly tennis instructors, ice skating instructors, art instructors, all the instructors, all of the particularly seasonal workers that we hire to do programming for youth. In Montgomery, that could have a significant impact. In Prince George's, it's a huge impact because they have the recreation department that does a lot of youth-serving programming, in addition to their summer camps and day camps and aftercare programs and everything else. So having all of those applicants have to go through a CPS clearance process, we are not concerned about the cost. We are not concerned about the paperwork. We are concerned about the timing and overwhelming CPS, because we're looking at possibly thousands of people that would have to go through that review every year, because we hire new people every year. It's not a static, some people come back, but there is a new process to hire people every year for these programs. And we don't know if the sponsor is aware of how enormous a number of people this could be, because just for our agency, it would be a big impact. But then you add to that the whole state, all clamoring to get this clearance. At this time, it takes a couple of months usually to get the clearance back from CPS for one person. If you add all of these people into a system that is, currently okay, it's a little, a little on the creaky side because it does take time, we just think it's going to shut CPS down. And we want to make sure that that our partners in the legislature know that this is going to be logistically difficult, and they might want to think about phasing this in or coupling this with additional resources for CPS, because this is going to overwhelm them very quickly. So, so that's basically what we want to make sure that we convey. We will, we are proposing to issue an informational sheet on this. We don't want to oppose it. We're not in the business of opposing something that makes our patrons safer. But we want to make sure that the system doesn't break down in order to do that. So we have an informational statement, just talking about, you know, the issues surrounding doing this, and also we want to reach out to the sponsor. The sponsor is out of Anne Arundel County, Senator Gile, I'm not sure how to say that, but we will reach out to her office and see if we can help, because we do, you know, we do want to be a partner in this, but we do anticipate that this is going to be logistically difficult, at least at first. So I'll stop there and see if there are any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Ford. Mr. Chair, if I may, a couple questions on this. Have we been in any kind of conversation with Child Protective Services around their reaction to their capacity to handle this?
No, not for this bill, but in the past, we've had lots of conversations with CPS, because in the past, the commission was sending a lot more than just our child care center staff through the CPS process. We were sending people through it if they had any connection to the buildings where the child care centers were located. So if anybody had any part of their job going into those buildings, we were sending them to CPS. And CPS contacted us and said, you got to stop doing this. You're sending too many people. These people, if they don't work at this location, they don't need this process. And so we had a long discussion with them, including the Attorney General's office. And this was about, I want to say, 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
So we know that they are concerned about that. We know how long it takes to get CPS clearance back now. We know that they're concerned about, you know, the numbers that we were initially sending to them, and they told us to stop. So we you know, we think we're on the same page with them, but we would certainly reach out to them to make sure, A, that they've seen the bill, and that B, we're not, you know, stepping on their toes in any way.
And then second part of that is do we, is there a way to sort of put a little bit more specificity to how long it takes? You said it can take 2 months or more.
We can get that information, yes, from our
Does that
from our
happen
folks
in
at DPR.
in a typical hiring process? Does that happen in parallel to the other kinds of processes we go through, or does it literally add what could be up to 2 months to hiring somebody?
I don't know if they hold it or if there is some sort of interim procedure that they can, you know, to get the person hired. We don't have that many childcare centers. So, you know, I don't know if this is something that they have to hold and, you know, and cannot let the person, you know, start working. That's a question for DPR. Maybe someone on the call might be able to answer that question for you.
Okay.
But I know it is, you know, if there is a time period, it's a short time period, interim, that we can allow people to start, but then, you know, we have to make sure that we get that clearance done before we can allow them to continue employment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Pedam?
I just have a question. Is CPS state or federal, and is it possible that another company to be able to do the same thing, or this is the only resource that we have to go to? And when you say youth, up to what age considered youth? Just curious. Thanks.
Okay, youth is considered under 18, and Child Protective Services is an agency or a sub-agency of the state under the Department of Human Services, I believe. And it's a state agency, and currently, there is no outside agency that handles this for them. It's a state portal on the Maryland Department of Human Services website that we enter the information into, and typically it takes 6 to 8 weeks to get the clearance back.
Okay, so I see that this is our opportunity because it's a state agency, so it's in their prerogative to make sure that the resources are available. And I think what we probably, I would recommend that we say that what kind of time frame is reasonable for us. And if 2 months, that I agree with you, is too long, maybe we should say that, we have no problem to do that as long as we get responses back within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever you feel is a reasonable time frame to put in. This is our time to chip in and say that this is what we need. Nowadays, waiting 2 months to get a response back for someone that we want to hire, you may lose a lot of good people, and that's not something that we want.
That is correct. That is correct.
Mr. Chair, one of our team, Mr. Pettiford from Department of Parks and Recreation, says that it typically happens in parallel, the process. That's, I think, to Commissioner Pettigrew, I'm still concerned around the impact on this. But at least it sounds like it's not slowing us down too much.
Not for our child care centers, but again, this, if it expands, it would be for summer camp counselors, it would be for things like lifeguards, all of those youth program instructors.
Hundreds of employees.
And, in these programs, the way they are designed, they are short. They are short-term programs. The summer camps, obviously, the 2 months in the summer. The instructor-led programs, 6 weeks of tennis lessons, 6 weeks of swimming lessons, an art class that might only last for 3 weeks. We have all of these very short duration programming, and so that's the concern, that, we try to get in instructors who are, really experts in their field, really good at what they do, but if it's going to take us 3 months to hire someone to do a 3-week program, it's going to really impact our ability to continue to do that kind of programming.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. Maybe if you don't know it now, I'd be interested in knowing what's driving this. Are there, and if you know, maybe you can tell us tomorrow if you don't know now, but why is this a big issue right now? Has something been happening that's triggering this, or?
Well, I don't know if this is what the sponsor is thinking, but I certainly know that in the news, we've seen several people who have been involved in either teaching youth or coaching youth that have been arrested for various misconduct, misconduct related to, the children that they were entrusted with. So, this is very much on everyone's mind, because it just seems like not a week goes by, but that you hear someone being arrested yet again for this kind of activity. So, I do understand, we do understand, and we want our patrons to be safe, and we want to do everything that we can. And again, let me just make it clear, we already background check everybody that we hire. So, we're not talking about criminal histories. We're talking about these specific CPS clearances that are currently now required just for our daycare center workers. So it's an expansion, and, if that's going to happen, it just needs to be managed appropriately.
Okay, thank you so much. So we'll move on to officers' reports. There are none today. Presented in the package other than the General Counsel litigation report for information only. If you have questions on any of the, from the executive director point of view, the secretary treasurer, or the general counsel, could you reach out to them separately unless you have a comment or question now? Seeing none, hearing none, we're going to go into closed session for our last item and then come back in the open session to close. So in order to go in closed session, pursuant to the Maryland General Provisions article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Section 3-305B9, a closed session is proposed to conduct collective bargaining negotiations or consider matters that relate to the negotiation. So we're going to go in. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
I second.
Moved by Geraldo, second by Mr. Bartley. May I have a roll call, please?
Chair Harris,
Aye.
Commissioner Bartley,
Aye.
Commissioner Hedrick,
Aye.
Mr. Pettawine,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shapiro,
Vote aye.
Commissioner Bailey,
But aye.
Commissioner Giraldo,
Vote aye.
Commissioner Washington.
Aye.
That's 8-0. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll go immediately into closed session, and then we'll come back and close out the meeting for today. Thank you. We've completed our closed session, and we're going to end our open session. So do I have a motion to end our open session for today?
So move, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Washington.
I'll second, James.
Okay. Moved by Commissioner Washington, second by Commissioner Hedrick. May we have a roll call, please?
Chair Harris,
Aye.
Commissioner Bartley,
Aye.
Commissioner Hedrick,
Aye.
Commissioner Pettawing,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shapiro,
But aye.
Commissioner Bailey, Commissioner Bailey. Oh, I think you're on mute, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Commissioner Giraldo,
She's on mute.
Up here, present.
and Commissioner Washington.
I vote aye.
7-0, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks, everyone. This ends our commission meeting for February 19th. Everyone have a great day, and we'll see you in a month. Thank you.
You as
Bye,
well.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, all.
Bye.